Hi. Bajaj Auto. So there were a couple of tweets which I made about Bajaj Auto, and the reason was pretty simple. If you look into my earlier video, which I have, which you will find in the upper right-hand corner, where I'm talking about some of my intraday strategies of how I actually trade based on VWAP and the volume. So you will find it. I have done this analysis for Dr. Reddy, and I've also done this analysis for Deepak Nitrate, and especially for Deepak Nitrate, is just from this last Friday, where Nifty actually broke a very important support level of 16,200. So you will find that analysis, and this is also one of the analysis which you can also do on Bajaj Auto. So this was the day before the buyback was announced, and it was only after closing that the buyback information came in, and then there was a huge gap up opening. So I definitely, this is one of the trades which you can see that for the next, for the 1.5 hours, there was absolutely no touching of the VWAP. You will find the video and what I am saying if you look into my earlier videos, as I mentioned in the upper right hand corner. So, and then eventually you can see that it was just lingering at VWAP, and then there was a strong candle opening, and then it was able to take out the day's high, but still there was no follow up buying, right? And so these setups are very particular setups which actually showcase that, this is a sort of a move which is coming because of, I mean, it's not the smart money which is actually entering these levels at this point, because whenever such and on the top of that, this was also, I think, an expiry in 9. Yeah, it was an expiry, and Nifty actually, yeah, did a huge run, and still, so it was because of that sentiment that you can see from 3840, it went towards 3890 levels. So this was a good move. Then on this particular, after the end of the market, there was a tweet, Bajaj Auto buyback, huge amount of positive sentiments, both from the TV experts, Twitter experts, trading experts, everyone. But I tweeted, and round about at 8 or 9 in the in the evening, that this is actually a bad thing for Bajaj Auto, and the reason is pretty simple. Bajaj Auto has a lot of challenges going forward. So one of the challenge is definitely the EV sector, so they can do a lot of R&D with the extra cash money they have. So there are two ways in which investors can be, so of all the ways which are out there in which an investor can be rewarded by the company, the only way is try to expand, try to make, more products, try to make better products, so that going forward, you know, uh, we as long-term investors, we are getting 100x instead of just merely 2x or 5x, right? So I don't like when such a buyback comes in, except in companies which are IT service companies. So in general, you can set up new plants, you can do more R&D on EV, you can do 10,000 different different things. But if a big company like Bajaj Auto thinks that, we are surplus in cash and we should be giving it away, so this was the main logic behind why I tweeted about this. And I also did mention that Bajaj Auto will run in the short term. So, for the next 1 month. Okay, see, another big problem with Bajaj Auto is there was also a trade which I tweeted about 1 month ago, when the June uh, expiry started, that there was a huge difference of 140, 150 rupees between the future Bajaj price and the actual stock price of Bajaj, and this is considering the 140 dividend which Bajaj Auto is going to give. So you are already a very good rich dividend paying company, right? You the investors who are invested in your company, we are not looking for, the next 5 years or 10 years, we are looking for the next 30, 40 years, right? So what's expected from such a company is, they will use the surplus cash, and they will try to find new businesses, and they will try to invest in those businesses, so that eventually we are going to get. But instead of that, if you're giving out the money, so I think it was a negative for me, and definitely I tweeted that this is not something which I would really expect much from a company, right? And then see, stock movements in a day or two doesn't change anything. And what I am trying to say, showcase over here, is that there are two headwinds right now for, till this June expiry. First is 140 rupees dividend. So this is actually triggering very interesting trading concepts, and I have already tweeted about it. So you should go and try to see of what I tweeted about, how you can use the a huge difference of dividend between the stock price of Bajaj Auto compared to that in the futures. So this is something, and going forward, I would definitely. So from the very first trick, you can see it was below the VWAP, and throughout the day it didn't even touch the VWAP, which actually showcases that there's not much interest from heavyweights. And then let's see how the market moves, and maybe going forward, if you look and zoom into an hour chart, maybe this will give you much better idea of how Bajaj Auto has been facing a very good resistance around about at 3950 to 4000. Even if it closes above 4000, that will be for the dividend, and then eventually it will again correct. So for me, if I am actually not very much interested in the dividend for a short term, so because that actually is a taxes. So for me, eventually getting something around about at 3700 after the dividend cut is something where I would really want to buy some, if I am looking forward. But going forward, I think such a sentiment is not good for a stock which actually goes for these sort of buyback options. And because the stock is not that undervalued also. This is also something which you have to understand. Uh, it's not like it's trading at a multi-year low that the management thinks that no, our stock should go high. So I think going forward, and this is also what I tweeted about, that on this particular candle, that this levels of 3860 and 3840 levels are very important. And a small type of reversal came, and it went towards the levels of 3890 on intraday basis. But try to look for this 3840 3860 level, and try to see how many times it comes over here and tries to get a support. If this level is very is broken, and there is absolutely no follow-up buying after that, then you can very well understand that it can again correct towards the levels of 3700 and 3600 maybe. So this is something which you should be keeping in mind. Hope my tweet which I did was able to stop you from buying at 3900 levels, and you were smart enough to be cautious rather than going with the flow, because everyone was like, I mean, there were some tweets about 4200 getting broken on this particular day. So these are just some sentiment. On the top of that, you can also well argue that the Nifty was weak, but if you look into my videos, so Deepak Nitride and Trend, which I talked about, they actually gave the move, right? So अगर stocks में अगर ताकत है तो वो झेल लेती है. Or so that's actually not a big excuse, or is not an excuse at all for me. Thanks a lot for listening. Hope this video will give you some ideas about how I am trading the Bajaj Auto. And in general, what I'm saying is this will run in the short term, so don't get upset. But theoretically, what I'm saying is this will not have a bull run, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the sentiment of the market. Of course, that's also a headwind for all the stocks. But in general, definitely, I am a big fan of Bajaj Auto, and it's also there in my portfolio. And I have a huge faith in the management. And going forward, what I expect is the management would be investing and doing R&D, coming up with new products, coming up with new plans, and spend money in that way, so that we as shareholders, we get rewarded on a longer period of time rather than this small moves. So thanks a lot. Hope this video is small and is able to give you some peak idea about what I'm thinking. In general, 3800 to 4000 on a bigger range is going to be over here. 4000 अगर break होती है and फिर अच्छी move अगर आती है, smart money comes in, obviously I will keep on tweeting, because this is one of my stocks and in my portfolio, and I'm actively trading and working on it. Compared to that, actually, if people are saying, okay, Bajaj Auto didn't perform, see how Maruti performed, right? So Maruti started off from here at the end, and then it entered into a consolidation phase. This is also what I tweeted, that most of the Nifty stocks are either weak or consolidating, and of course, Reliance being the dragger. So अगर ऐसी structure, अगर Bajaj Auto भी करती, then we would have been, at least I would have taken back my word. But as we saw that Bajaj Auto was not even able to hold any particular level, though it was